Sean McDermott shouldn't be allowed back on the plane to Buffalo or train to Buffalo or whatever it is they're taking. Back to Buffalo. Because that was just absolutely horrible what just happened with the way the Bills just lost to the Eagles. And it was almost entirely on coaching. It was an undisciplined team that had like 15 penalties. There were multiple issues with the referees. I will give them that. But on top of that, in the fourth quarter and overtime, Sean's just like, yep, let's just play like we did against Kansas City in the AFC Championship game. Let them run down the field, all that. And they did. And then the Eagles get the field goal to tie up the game at the end of the fourth quarter. The Bills go down, have a chance to win the football game with a touchdown, but they don't. They end up kicking a field goal, and the field goal is good. So actually that was good. It was fourth down, so it was the right decision to kick the field goal based on where they were on the football field. And then they just let the Eagles drive 75 yards down the field for a touchdown because they keep trying to not give up the big play, and they're playing way too far off the quarterback, off the receivers, 20 yards deep, 30 yards deep, almost the whole end of the fourth quarter and overtime. They're just sitting there like not actually playing proper defense, and it's all because Sean McDermott, allegedly this defensive mastermind, can't figure out how to coach a football game, can't figure out how to coach a defense, can't figure out how to call a defense. Remember, if you give up 10, 12 yards every time, that's, 8 plays, 80 yards. If you start at the 25-yard line, that's a touchdown after 8 or 9 plays. Jalen Hurts did not play great. We saw that. He had like 200 yards. Sure, he had 3 completions, or three touchdowns, like 7, seven, or no interceptions, so that was good for him. Or he might have had 1, but he did not play well. He was like 17 or 19 for 29. Yeah, he did pretty good. 2 or 3 rushing touchdowns. It was 37-34. In overtime, Philadelphia's got a 5-game winning streak. The only team they've lost to is the Jets. It's hilarious that the Eagles have lost to the Jets. But Sean McDermott is absolutely a bad football coach. And then multiple times on 3rd down and 7, 3rd down and 8, the Bills would end up picking up 3rd down 7, 3rd down and 8, 3rd down and 10. A bunch of times, but multiple times Stephon Diggs was not on the field for those plays, and it was ridiculous, because why wasn't he on the field for those plays? Stephon Diggs on the sidelines, 3rd and 10, Stephon Diggs on the sideline, throw to Sheffield, incomplete. 3rd and 4, throw to Sheffield, incomplete. There were a lot of 3rd downs where Diggs was not on the field, and I don't know why. Throw to Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis could have got a touchdown, but he went and ran the wrong route. They should take choice routes out of the Bills' offense with Gabe Davis, because he very clearly never makes the right choice, or the choice that Allen's expecting. Because he had a ton of separation, but Allen threw to not where he was. Now, I will say that there was that phantom intentional grounding call against Josh Allen that actually should have been a horse collar against the Bills, but the other penalties against the Bills were all essentially legitimate. Except maybe that one that we didn't get to see, the holding penalty. But what the hell? Sean McDermott, why are you coaching the team so poorly? Why are you not coaching a team? It's like you're coaching a team that hasn't ever made the playoffs, so you're trying to get them to try to fight to be in the playoffs. But you've gone to the playoffs multiple times. You've gone to an AFC championship game. Pretty sure you went to a Super Bowl when you were on Ron Rivera's staff. Pretty sure. I mean, I know you got fired in Carolina, and I'm fairly certain that one time Buffalo actually beat Carolina while you were the defensive coordinator there, because you did some nonsense like what you did in 13 seconds and in this game, where you just played absolutely terrible football, and it wasn't the players' fault. And anytime players commit many penalties, especially the amount of procedural and holding penalties that the Bills had today, you know that that's on coaching. Coaching isn't instilling discipline in the team like, hey, don't do that. or not going through. There are literally teams who go through referees' tendency charts and have like part of their walkthrough as a what they're looking for, so you try to avoid that during the game. It seems like Buffalo doesn't have that. And I'm not going to say the defense played great. They gave up 37 points, but they also didn't give up a lot of yardage. But remember, yardage is a meaningless stat. Buffalo, I believe, outgained Philadelphia 500 to 375, which is essentially, if you assume that every 75 yards, every 75 yards you get a touchdown, Buffalo should have won by 3 touchdowns. But nah, instead they're just sitting there like this. We don't know what football is. We don't know how to play football because our coach is incompetent. Remember, the Bills parted ways mutually with Leslie Frazier at the end of last season to make Sean McDermott the defensive coordinator, and then fired their offensive coordinator 2 weeks ago. So they don't actually have a full-time coordinator on the staff. They have Joe Brady, and they don't have a defensive coordinator, and it is a hilariously sad football team. But Sean McDermott should be fired immediately. Like, the fact that Sean McDermott is still allowed to coach this football team is ridiculous. He's the guy before the guy. Sean McDermott will not get this team to a Super Bowl. What needs to happen is they need to find somebody like Steve Kerr, to be the guy who is the guy who gets you to the Super Bowl. Like Mark Jackson over in Golden State was the guy before the guy, but at this point, this is ridiculous. This is hilarious and ridiculous with the way the Bills play. And they know the overtime rules are if you score a field goal, the other team can score a touchdown. The rules are like that because of Buffalo. But and Josh didn't play bad either. He had 1 interception, 8 straight games with an interception, though. That's on coaching. I think that's on coaching, not like telling him, hey, rein it in, figure it out, working with him to not throw interceptions in practice. Although I have heard that Josh doesn't necessarily run a lot of extra stuff in practice, just does what he needs to do in practice and leaves, which is a problem also on coaching. Coaching should be going to the star players and being like, hey, be leaders in this locker room. Work on what your problems are. Your problem is you throw a lot of interceptions. Stop that. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And